Legends, what is going on? Hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful start to the new year. I appreciate all the recent subscribers as well as all the followers on all the pages. You legends are absolutely amazing. And more importantly, shout out to all of you legends who are starting off the new year on the right foot. So many of the students are destroying the markets, ripping so many pips out of the markets. And so shout out to you guys. Real quick, just want to go into the two trades that I had taken this week, AUD USD and USD CAD. It's been a bit of a rough week because of all the pending data. FOMC was yesterday, Wednesday, as well as we got NFP and unemployment rate coming out on Friday. And so markets are going to be consolidated for the most part as they will be anticipating what that data will review for potential future movements. And so taking a look at the plays that I had taken this week, AUD USD to begin with. So legends, to start off, at the beginning of the year, price attempted to create a very strong push to the downside, as we all know, was the flash crash. However, we did in fact reject that 70 handle, and from there made a very strong surge to the upside, telling us that the buyers are here. We are not cracking that low on the longer time frame, that 70 handle, and the buyers are going to try to start getting some momentum. Once we saw that impulse, legends, we did see price start to move into a state of reversal, hinting to us that this whole movement here in general was too extended, and at some point we got to pull back. And that makes complete sense, as if you guys know how trends form, you know they form in 4 points: a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high if we were moving in a bullish trend. And since we are, that's all we care about with regards to points. So a potential higher low was going to be formed, which is really great to see, guys, because it tells us once again that this initial push that started right here may be continuing. Now, if we do take a look when price within this state of liquidation or relief, last week sellers attempted to break below that last higher low when this surge had started. However, falsely broke. We did in fact receive a short-term reversal pattern, and from there price made another strong push to the upside, not only invalidating this false break, but more importantly invalidating this last lower high, giving us short-term higher highs and telling us that we will in fact receive a continuation of that push, and this may no longer be liquidation or relief. Now, the execution was done on the smaller time frames, and you have to understand, legends, I understood what type of market we were in, treating all of this as liquidation or relief, but I played more of the statistics game here and saw that my odds were without a doubt in my favor after we in fact corrected out of this descending momentum with this push right here. Now, we did receive a short-term state of liquidation or relief, and this is where my execution and thought process had started coming into play. So taking a closer look at here, like I said, in this state of liquidation or relief, notice what price does. We receive a very strong push from the sellers. However, price fails to really keep that momentum. And from there, we start rejecting a region where a potential formation can come about, which is the inverted head and shoulders. If I zoom out for you just a bit, you guys can see here we have the left, the head, the left, and the right shoulder. So a beautiful, beautiful play all in all, because once we correct out of here, short-term continuation plus a potential inverted head and shoulders and rejecting that last higher low, a lot is going on here, telling us that the buyers are going to start kicking in again at some point. Now, unfortunately, when I had taken the trade, I had got caught in some consolidation. Ultimately, we had gotten the push that was expected, but I did in fact get caught. You can see my entry did result in a break back above where we initially broke below, followed by a retest. However, was a bit just too early, as price did make one more push down. But I was quite confident that we were not going to break those lows, especially with what had happened within that movement. And so once I started seeing price hold these lows here, once we started pushing down a bit more, I can just see a reversal pattern forming inside, and at some point we were going to push to the tops. Now, to be completely honest, legends, I knew that there was pending AUD news coming out. However, I accepted the risks associated to me on this given trade and played the statistical play. Now, I also understood that the market was more anticipating and awaiting the FOMC data as well as NFP, so I was not too worried about the pending AUD data. However, all in all, the statistics, the odds, the probability were all in my favor, as well as the techs were really sound. And so eventually we did get our push to the tops, which was nice to see. We only ran into the tops legends for two reasons. A, it's a basic 1, 2, 3 pattern, 1 being the impulse, 2 being the relief, and once we crack out, 3 comes straight back to the tops. And secondly, like I've been discussing, we had pending FOMC data coming out, so I didn't want to incur a push like this or a push as we had seen. More importantly, as you can see, my arrows are illustrating, this is the bigger play. And so that is something that we will be hunting for next week. Those are the reasons why I took AUD USD legends, and let's get into USD CAD. So taking a look at USD CAD and the reasons why I played the trade in the way that I did. To start off on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that USD CAD in general is in a very bearish state, and with inside the structure legends, we saw a huge impulse, telling us the sellers are definitely in control for the moment and trying to get rid of some of that bullish momentum that's been occurring for quite some time. From there, we saw a beautiful state of liquidation or relief, and like I discussed on the AUD USD trade, it's really great to see as it's telling us potentially that lower high is forming for further continuation down, as in a downtrend, we need 4 points to form to call it a trend. A high point, a low point, a lower high, and a lower low. And so in this sense, we only had 1 and 2, making this just an impulse, and we definitely do need liquidation or relief, creating that 3rd point or potentially a 4th point to form and tell us the trend is actually intact. And so looking at how price had moved since this state of liquidation or relief, we received another strong impulse. And from there, price did shoot back up short term, but I treated that push in general as a liquidated movement. But one thing that I want you guys to take note at on the 2-hour time frame, which is where my execution was done, was even though when price made this strong impulse down and we made a strong impulse up, I treated this as a liquidated movement from this push. We can see a short-term reversal pattern inside of this corrective movement, giving me another indication that we may start pushing to the downside. And so apologies, legends, my execution was actually done on the 1-hour time frame. And so you guys actually can see here that the way I had entered was once we started to push and break below this 382, which is where the majority of the support was being held and where the sellers were kept away from pushing lower, we did receive not only a break and retest. However, I was caught in the crosshairs right there, did incur some type of consolidation, but just like AUD, I was too confident that this high was not going to break based on my confirmations and confluences that I had leading up into this trade. And so I had a feeling that it was just trying to grab more orders for a continued push, which is exactly what had happened. And so ultimately, we did receive another potential entry if traders wanted to get into that once we broke out of this short-term ascending or liquidated movement, and we did receive our push to where we had expected. Now, keep in mind, we only ran it to the lows, just like we only ran AUD USD to the highs, because this is a basic 1, 2, 3 pattern, 1 being our impulse, 2 being our relief, and once we crack out, 3 targeting back to 1s. And once again, we did have pending data coming out, FOMC, as well as we do have NFP coming out tomorrow. And so I didn't want to incur either another move in the opposite direction, invalidating my trade, or potentially to leave it up to fate. Now, we did see price end up continuing in our direction, which was great to see, telling us that the techs were holding regardless of what the data was, because the data was unchanged. And so all in all, legends, these were 2 really good technical and statistical plays to take. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the reasons why I took them in the way that I did. It was a bit misfired at first. However, it's simply a statistical game in the end of the day. And so there is no perfect trade. There is no perfect entry. Our goal is to take numerous amounts of confirmations, confluences, build up our trades, and then from there execute accordingly. And so in the end of the day, as long as the odds are in our favor, as long as structure does not change its bias, its direction, eventually our play will come through. And so with that, legends, that was USD CAD, reasons why I took it, as well as those are the 2 trades that I took for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys want me to do any other videos that you guys have in mind. Hope you legends have a wonderful week, and I'll speak to you guys later.